Hey, thanks for tuning in. In this video, we're going to talk about loving Him in all our heart. Deuteronomy 6, verses 4 through 5 read, "Listen, Israel, Yahuwah our Elohim, Yahuwah is one. And you shall love Yahuwah your Elohim in all of your heart, and in all of your vitality, and in all of your exceedingly." This command of loving Him in all of our heart is one that is fairly well known and is fairly well accepted, at least relative to the other commands in the Torah. But what does it mean to love Him? And what does it mean to love Him in all of our heart, in all of our vitality, and in all of our exceedingly? Is loving Him just about feeling affection, having strong emotions toward Him? Or is there something else going on, or something else going on as a result of that? And when it says all of our heart, what does that mean? Does that just mean to feel that much more strongly toward Him? Or is there something else that could be going on? Let's look at another example of a reference to loving Him in all of our heart and in all of our vitality in Deuteronomy 11:13. "And it shall be, if listening, you shall listen to my commandments, which I am commanding you today, to love Yahuwah your Elohim, and to serve Him in all of your heart and in all of your vitality, and I shall give rain of your land in its time." And of course, it refers to other blessings as well. In this verse, we are not only told to love Him in all of our heart and in all of our vitality, but we are also supposed to serve Him in all of our heart and in all of our vitality. These two are connected together in this verse. And we can even see something similar going on in that Deuteronomy 6:5 passage we referenced earlier, in the very verse in question. We can see that it says that we shall love Him in all of our heart and in all of our vitality and in all of our exceedingly. And in the next verse, "And these words which I am commanding you today shall be on your heart." So not only are we to love Him in all of our heart, vitality, and exceedingly, we are not only to do that, we are also to serve Him in all of our heart and vitality. And in the process of loving Him in all of our heart, the commandments are also supposed to be on our heart. We are supposed to have the commandments of the Torah, which are being given, are to be on our heart. Just as Deuteronomy 5:29 says regarding the events of Horeb, the events before the mountain. "And their heart shall be this to them, to fear me and to guard all of my commandments, all of the days." So we are to love Him, we are to have the commands on our heart, we are to serve Him in all of our heart. And also, our heart is to be as the people had their hearts at the events of Horeb, when they recognized that indeed this is going on. This is what is taking place, that we are going to serve our Elohim. We are going to serve Yahuwah. And our hearts are to be set as that, so that we fear Him, and so that we guard His commandments all of the days, the commandments which are not supposed to be added to or taken away from, the commandments which were delivered to us and mediated through Moses. And we can also see in Deuteronomy 13:3 actually a description of testing us to see whether we truly are loving Him in all of our heart. In regard to testing a false prophet, "You shall not listen to words of that prophet, or to that one dreaming the dream. that Yahuwah your Elohim is testing you to know, are you ones loving Yahuwah your Elohim in all your heart and in all your vitality? After Yahuwah your Elohim you shall go, and him you shall fear, and his commandments you shall guard, and in his voice you shall listen. In him you shall serve, and in him you shall cling. We know that we are to love him in all of our heart and all of our vitality. And the presence of a false prophet is actually a test. It's a test to see whether we will test that prophet. But more than that, as it says in this verse, whether we test that prophet is a determination of whether we are truly loving him. Are we really loving him in all of our heart and all of our vitality? He is testing us to see whether we are going to remove a false prophet from our midst, or whether we are just going to listen to that false prophet and assume that it must be okay. It must be okay that this prophet is coming along and teaching a way that is different from the Torah. It must be okay that some prophet has been accepted by other people, and I heard this all along that, as I grew up or whatever the case may be, that this prophet is telling us the truth, even though I can see in the Torah that the Torah says otherwise. This is a test. This is serious business. It's a test to see whether we are truly loving him, whether we will listen to that prophet, or whether we will listen to him, Yahuwah, and test the prophets, whether we will listen to and guard his Torah as he has commanded us. Deuteronomy 10 sums this up pretty well. And now, Israel, what is Yahuwah your Elohim asking from with you? But to fear Yahuwah your Elohim, to go in all of his ways, and to love him and to serve Yahuwah your Elohim in all your heart and in all of your vitality, to guard commandments of Yahuwah and his enactments, which I am commanding you today, to good to you. How are we to have our heart? How are we to love him in all of our heart? It's not just about feeling strongly. Feelings alone are not what matters. These feelings should be guidance to us to make him our priority, guidance for action. Love, in my view, is about dedication, and it's about priorities. Where are we placing our priorities? Are we placing our priorities in ensuring that we are serving him, that we are seeking after his commands, that we are seeking what it is that he has commanded us, how he has commanded us to be, and what he has commanded us to do? Are we seeking after that? And in this notion of all of our heart, clearly if it's a matter of loving him with all of our heart, it's not sufficient to just love him with part of our heart. And we've all been in positions where we've had divided priorities, where we've had a divided heart, a divided mind about issues. And we've all been in situations where we felt like, yeah, I want to do this, but I don't have any choice but to do this other thing. We've been in situations like this. I'm sure all of us have been in situations like this. We are to love him in all of our heart. He is to be our priority, and we shouldn't be letting our heart be divided in that way. That we should resolve to have it unified in serving him and seeking after him in loving him, in guarding his commandments, in serving him, and in keeping these events, keeping his law, keeping his commands, and keeping him on our heart, keeping it as our priority, as something that is continually recalled, as something that is our guiding priority. We should seek to resolve these divisions that we may have, these divisions of our heart, these divisions of our mind, these issues that come up where we want to serve him, but something else. There may be situations where we feel like we have no choice, but we do have a choice. Are we going to seek after him in all of our heart or no?